Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 17 of What If Naruto failed his Genin test and was given intense training. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, stay in tune for the rest of the What Ifs coming your way over Anime King 2 and Anime King 3 later on guys. If you're new, yes, you heard that correctly. I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click those red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, and yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, as Danzo spoke to Naruto, as he told him that he needed to be the catalyst in the exam, to show everyone that Konoha is the strongest. He should not hold back. He should not hesitate. He must slaughter, show his strength, as Naruto took those words to heart. What Naruto was unaware of though, was Danzo's eye that was activated under the bandage, controlling Naruto. The rest of the week went by a bit hazy, as Naruto didn't focus that much, but he did train with Jiraiya. Everything still went on normal, but yet, he felt a bit strange. But he shrugged it off as him just thinking over the exam. So with that out of the way, the day finally came, as everyone was gathered. The head of Taki came there, along with Fu as his bodyguard. Also, the head of the Sound also came there as well, a man named Arashi from the Fuma clan, and the Kazekage was there as well, as Hiruzen sat down as well. Things were going to be hectic this time around, as the first battle to start was Sakura versus Neji. Sakura looked all jumpy, as one would think Sakura was no match for Neji, but when he hit her, she didn't feel a single thing because her body was so drugged up. She couldn't feel anything, as she activated the seals on her chest. As powder, Neji screamed out in agonizing pain as his eyes were severely damaged by the seal that Sakura released. With that, she was able to end the fight by placing a kunai down towards his neck until the proctor came in and stopped it from Neji being killed, as Neji was no longer able to participate and Sakura won. She was taken away to the infirmary as well because her mind was all messed up, as Anko had gave the girl away to win, but it didn't work out so good because Sakura went berserk in the hospital and ended up breaking the medic's arm, the doctor, as her parents were there for her. As one of the doctors spoke the moment they found out that it was Anko Mirashi, they should have taken Sakura away. The remaining matches went on, as Naruto made his way down there to face off against Tenten, as his mind snapped. As he wasted no time, he transformed. Cloak came around him as he ripped into Tenten. Mercilessly, he tore her apart like she was nothing but a mere insect. As Naruto arrived in his mindscape where he met his other half, that dark, corrupted part of him. The fox also laughed as he looked up. As the Mangita Sharingan was swirling, Naruto did not know that Danzo was the one that placed that illusion on him. Danzo told him to go all out. So Naruto furthermore showed Konoha's strength by obliterating anyone that came in his path. The next matches then went on as Naruto was called once again as he made his way down there. The fox started to taunt and mock him. The fox absorbed Shikaku's power, and he was trying to use that to counter-react the seal to break it through. As sand started to gather around Naruto in the real world, he went straight to Four Tails. Kurosaki thought that she had a chance as she hit him with almost everything she got, but yet he walked out of it unscathed, his body cloaked in the second form of the Biju. As she saw those eyes, those cold, empty, lifeless eyes, Lee was also angry. First Neji, and now Tenten. As the man was pissed, he swore vengeance on Naruto as Lee was able to beat down Sai despite Sai placing him under genjutsu because Lee had something on his weights that continuously scratched his legs to cause him pain so that he could break through genjutsu. Lee was not holding back, as he was gonna meet Naruto up here and they were gonna battle and he was gonna get revenge for Tenten. As Guy tried his best to calm his student, told him that revenge was not the path. So yeah guys, that's basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the place, check it out for yourself. So this is begin this new episode. So what, said Naruto as he was in his mindscape looking at the fox. I should just die. Lay down and let you kill me. Why would I do something like that? Because the good of the many outweigh the good of the few. It's only logical, the Kyuubi said. And let me tell you this, you've already lost. Do you think they will let you die at old age? No. They will use you like the weapon that you are. And then they will extract me from you to place me in someone younger. And you would have served your purpose as a Jinchuriki. As the sand started to come closer to him, some of them already breaking through his guard. At that split moment, Naruto realized something. As a kunai that was in his hand, he brought it towards his throat. As he placed it right at his throat, the Kyuubi growled. So that's it, huh? Said Naruto. This wasn't about killing me. You want to absorb me, getting me to remove the seal and offer a peace. You really don't want me to die for it to be reborn, do you? The process will be too long. The time it will take for me to return. The world cannot afford that, the Kyuubi said. And let's face it, Naruto, you can't win. No, said Naruto. You're right, but I can stall for a time, can't I? Are you sure about that? As Naruto placed the kunai closer to his throat. Very well, Kurama said. As the Ichibai corpse disappeared, the sand vanished. All the rotten limbs that were trying to grab Naruto vanished as well. The fox roared as the place trembled and the Mangita Sharingan burst. No longer there, as its fall like broken glass. As Naruto blinked, he was back in the real world. His face gazed at Kurosaki, who was kneeling, blood dripping from her mouth. Never screwed my team ever again, he said. Eventually, Naruto, I will force you to open the seal. One way or another, said Kurama. Kakashi declared Naruto the winner. You're a bastard and you lie, said Naruto. I never said I could not lie. I just said I would not. So why should I ever trust you again, said Naruto. You tasted my power for long enough. You think after you taste the nectar of my chakra, you can live without it? Let's see how long you will fear by yourself until you plead for my help this time. And what if I'm about to die, said Naruto. When that happened, the Kyuubi hissed. I would claim your weakened mind for myself. As Naruto quickly made his way, because in the back of his mind he could feel the Ichibai that the Kyuubi had absorbed, and it was not sealed like the Kyuubi. The next match was Rock Lee versus Teiwai of the Sound. As Naruto was about to enter the box when his sensei appeared in a flicker. Naruto, Sensei, Sakura, said Yujiu. What about her, said Naruto. As Naruto watched his sensei, who seemed conflicted as she crossed her arms like she was fighting an inner demon of her own. She's gonna stay at the hospital a bit more. She's gonna be fine. Naruto smiled back. At least something good, right? Yes, at least, said Yujiu. Yujiu watched as Naruto made his way towards the contestant box, as she clenched her right fist after he left. How could she tell him the amount of drug what Uncle did to that girl? As Yujiu looked down, Sakura was found with her parents on the ground. The girl had bit and clawed them to death, her own parents. Her mind was fractured, just like the doctor said. Her parents were warned to inform the doctor not get too close. But it was their child. Who would think their child would ever do something like that? As she clenched her fist so tight that blood was leaking from her palm, she was gonna make Uncle pay for this, what she had done to that poor girl. She remembered watching them through the window, and how happy the girl was with her parents, with all of them there, and her two other teammates, and now things were gonna be rough for her. Incredibly so. Even if her mind was able to come back. As Yujiu clenched her fist tighter, she was gonna make Uncle pay. Even if it was the last thing she did, even if she had to face execution for what she did to that poor girl. Meanwhile, Dante was watching the match. He had watched that match. He frowned angrily as he saw Naruto did not deliver the final blow towards that kunoichi from the stone. Maybe his command had been a bit too lax on Naruto. He had told the boy to show no mercy and be the weapon of Konoha. Maybe he should have told him to kill all of his opponents and be ruthless. Still, maybe he believed he could better serve Konoha without starting a war. But there was still time as he watched as Lee delivered a second blow to Teiwaya, and it took her out of the match. Danzo smirked as he looked around. As long as Shinobis did not hate Naruto like the civilians, he would have him perfect where he wanted, away from the civilians, put him into a military mindset because he was a shinobi, not a civilian. He watches a few envoys flicker into the boat and murmurs something to Hiruzen. Hiruzen's eyes widen as he turned them on Danzo. He faked ignorance as he watches Hiruzen call for 5 minutes of pause before the next match. It didn't take him much to make his way to casually come across the Hokage while they were both going towards the bathroom. The envoy that surrounded them seemed to just vanish, leaving the two old friends alone. I don't know what game you're playing, Danzo, Hiruzen said, but it ends now, understood? You have to be more specific, Hiruzen, Danzo said, in a rather calm and collected tone. It was well done, I admit it, but the corpses were already dead before the claw marks and bite marks settled in, and the girl's body had a mild exciter in her bloodstream. So care to tell me why you feel it would be a good idea to do something to that poor little girl, especially because she's Naruto's teammate. I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about. Do you take me for an imbecile? Hiruzen asks. I know that this is your work. This power that Naruto is shown down there. You told him to act like that. Don't think I don't know. And don't think I'm gonna let him anywhere close to you ever again. He'll be moving to a Chunin apartment, next to his teammates. He refused to be Jiraiya apprentice, Hiruzen. Who are you gonna entrust him with? Asked Danzo. Oh, that problem is taken care of. And it's not about him, but his team. You wish to make him a lone envoy operative, like you did with Itachi. But that plan will fail. I will guarantee you, even if I have to use every single old bone in my body, I will guarantee, Danzo, that you fail, Hiruzen said angrily. Danzo's lone eye narrowed on Hiruzen. Hiruzen, you're not. I am, said Hiruzen. I do not know how you managed to get root into Envu, but that is a problem with secretive organization. When they are breached, no one knows. You would really let the three of them in a public Chunin team. They would not last in the Chunin core, Hiruzen. You cannot send the Jinchuriki of Konoha out in a public core. You see, Danzo, this is where we differ. You always saw the weapon to be ill and prime, but I see the shinobis as people, which is why Tobirama Sensei should have chosen you, but at the same time I'm glad that he did not. Believe in your light all you want, Hiruzen, Danzo said. I will tend to the darkness as I always have. Playing with your words now, are you? Said Hiruzen. Don't we always? Asked Danzo. The final match of the tournament is about to begin. All spectators return to your seat. Both men separate from each other as he flashed away. Meanwhile, deep in the confines of the Root headquarters, Sasuke headed towards the infirmary. The rest of his team was watching the matches on the televisions that were down here for them in the secret base. With the grass team, there was not really much down here because everyone had been sent out to guard the proceedings. As Sasuke arrived just in time to see Kabuto leaving for somewhere. Oh, Sasuke-kun, what's the matter? Were you wounded? Battling Shiro-san? No, Sasuke said. They're all out there watching the tournament, and I thought about your offer. How could he not? Sasuke saw the power that Naruto wielded. That is the power that he needed. That is the power that he needed to take down Itachi. Oh? What of it? I will accept, Sasuke said. Splendid. It doesn't take much, Kabuto said. Just lay down in the bed, and I'll take care of it. Sasuke did. As Kabuto put a needle, I'll give you a mild sedative. No need to be in pain if we can avoid it. Wasn't it potentially fatal? Sasuke asked with a frown. Shouldn't you be telling someone? I lied about that, Kabuto said with a smile. I wouldn't want you to go into this 50%. After all, with power must come determination. Otherwise, it's not worthy of being called power. Sasuke exhaled slowly. Can you activate your Sharingan, Sasuke-kun? Said Kabuto. As Sasuke activated Sharingan, as Kabuto struck him with the syringe, Sasuke felt his muscles tense up. Tomo, of both eyes half mature. Well, it could have been better. As Kabuto smiled. A wicked, cruel, corrupted smile. And that was the last thing that Sasuke would ever see. but he was going to be fully awake for the pain as Kabuto ripped both eyes out of the socket. I'll also take a few more samples. Kabuto's voice cut in through the fog of pain that was coursing through Sasuke. You know, how would I turn on the radio so you can hear who's gonna win the tournament? This was a nightmare. He was gonna wake up at any moment now. This guy didn't just take his eyes. Sasuke thought to himself, he didn't just have his Sharingan taken away from him. The man had told him that they were similar, that the both of them shared their ideal of revenge. Now, no need to fight off the poison because you can't. It will go away naturally in a few hours, and I'll already be out of the village by then. Meanwhile, in the arena, as the two Genin stood there, as Kakashi was ready to declare the start of the last match, Honorable Proctor Rock Lee said, "A moment if I can. I want to ask a question to my opponent before we begin." Fine, Kakashi said. "Unyouthful beast," Lee said as he pointed towards Naruto. "My name is Rock Lee, the student of the youthful green beast of Konoha. Today I will defeat you. But first I have to ask you this. Why did you kill my teammate? What reason did you do this? What reason why my teammate deserved your hate and your next opponent did not?" Naruto breathed deeply as his eyes settled on Lee, who was still slightly sweaty from his battle before. "I had a change of heart," he said, weakly. "Do not deceive me with those words. What did my teammate do to you?" said Lee. "Nothing," said Naruto. "I did not even know her name before we were paired up for the battle. I held no contempt, no hatred, nothing towards her. No reason to kill her," said Naruto. "So why?" Lee asked in a whisper, before his voice grew heated in anger. "Why did you kill her?" he shouted. "Because," said Naruto as he pointed towards the crowd, "they made me do it." Hushed silence fell in the arena as everyone strained their necks to hear him speak. "Funny, isn't it?" said Naruto. "You want the real culprit? Look at the people that are applauding you, the guys that are cheering for you, and are so quick to insult me and call me demon. Ask them what they did to me, and then you'll have your answer. They believe themselves so special, so human. You know what is funny? The Kyuubi is probably more human than half the people in Konoha. I know his hatred is motivated by a good couple of things that I can understand." As Naruto laughed insanely, "You realize that your life is truly screwed up when you can sympathize with demon, you know that. You want to know the true power of the Kyuubi." As he took a step forward, "I am malice," he screamed out, "and it hurts. Because it's right and it's everywhere. You know your teammate, the dark side of me, the part that they brought forward, that is who killed her. You ask why. I give you another question. Why do they act like I was a demon from birth? I mean, one must be really screwed up in your mind to think something like that, right? Maybe they were afraid. Yeah, right. I used that excuse first. Maybe I did something bad for simply being born, but that too went out of the gutter. It's because I'm the Jinjutsu of the Kyuubi. Is that enough to call a child a monster? Apparently, it is enough for them. And guess what, even now, he can't see me dead because if I go, he go too. And this world that is filled with so much malice, it will burn. But it doesn't matter anymore," said Naruto as he pulled on his tanto. "You're delusional," said Lee. "I will defeat you then." Kakashi swallowed hard. He was probably the only one that heard them speak except for the part that Naruto screamed out. Naruto was probably losing it because of his stress. He didn't know if the Kages up in the booth had a fine-tuned hearing, but if they did, the crowd had returned back to normal, their hate going towards Naruto, and them cheering on Lee to win. As Kakashi began the match, Naruto shot forward. Lee pulled off the weights in a scream as the metal guards on it that were causing him pain to break through any illusion. As Naruto swiped towards Lee's neck, but Lee vanished in a burst of speed. As Naruto ducked as two giant weights slammed where his head once was. Lee was trying to kill him, while he was trying to do the same. They were out for blood, the both of them. As Naruto saw the weights had the hooks on the other side to dig into Lee's skin as he saw blood on it. Oh, so that's how he got out of the genjutsu, Naruto thought to himself. The moment that thought finished, a powerful kick slammed into his back, lifting him off the ground as white wrappings tried to bind himself all over him. But Naruto pulled Chakra through his jacket. He had come prepared to fight on his own terms after all. Barbed wire came from Naruto's jacket to unfold over Lee, who had to move out of the way rather quickly, giving Naruto enough time to separate himself from there. The moment Naruto landed, he was sent sailing as he smashed into the wall. Naruto tilted his head as the wall was obliterated, where his head was as Lee's fist connected in it. As Naruto swiped at the boy that jumped back, moving with incredible speed. As Naruto pulled out the steel wire that he had and unbundled it all. If the enemy has the advantage, take it away first. Speed, strength. He only had taijutsu. As Naruto ducked as a roundhouse kick whipped over his shoulders. As he rolled to the side. Take time, talk. What is the youth crap about, said Naruto. As Lee looked towards him. You foul, unyouthful demon. Do not talk ill about the fate of youth. What's that crap about anyway, said Naruto, as he catches his breath. As he had a bundle of wire laid in a corner. As he was starting to set up a plan. It's about... Naruto brought his hands together. Thousands of clones poofed into the arena. Not 100, not 2,000, but 9,000 clones poofed into the arena. Rock Lee looked around. You unyouthful person, you tricked me. I'm a shinobi. That's my job description, said Naruto. The flames of youth will find you anyway, you unyouthful demon. Up in the stands, the Nibi, Jinchuriki spoke. Isn't it against the rule to leave the arena? Technically, he hasn't, the Sound Kage spoke. Unless, you want to be nitpicky about it, of course. Well, to look underneath the underneath is supposed to be a shinobi job, said Hiruzen. I wonder what they said to one another to make Naruto so angry. His name is Naruto, the bodyguard of Suyen. The leader of Taki, it was Fu who spoke. Is he good to eat, Fu said. Sure he is, he said in a snicker. I bet he's really crunchy too. No, said Suyen. He's not good to eat, and you will not try and eat him, Fu. Alright, the girl nodded dejectedly. Hiruzen raised an eyebrow. But, Suyen simply sighed. He would answer the question later on. Well, if forced. Why are your envoys moving around like chickens? Third, asked Onki as he saw the envoys flashing around. They are simply patrolling the premises, Hiruzen said. It was then that the 9,000 clones poofed away. Deserted, they were gone. As the arena looked empty, no wire, nothing was around. How does he plan to use them, Onki said. Yujito's nose twitched slightly. That's quite a bit of chocolate, she said. And the Genin down there can't feel it at all, can he? How did he manage to make the cut for the shinobi force, said the Sound Kage. Meanwhile, the air was laid that thick, oppressive pressure that Rock Lee had never felt before. He felt the ground tremble slightly, but then everything went still. Even the air seemed to just stop. There was a light shimmer of something blue around him, confusing him, until he had to jump back. The ground exploded as Rock Lee was in mid-air as Naruto came out, as he had a tornado-like creation that was made of nothing but unbridled chakra. It twisted savagely. Up above, hundreds of kunais and shurikens came raining down. The chakra of the hurricane exploded beyond what any normal shinobi could contain, as it swallowed up Rock Lee. As Naruto yelled to the world, Naruto Uzumaki, he screamed his name in triumph. Rock Lee knew pain. He has been through enough pain after his intense, gruesome training. Yet he wasn't prepared at all for when Naruto chakra swirled in all of the weapons into nothing but chaos. What happened next was pain. Intense, savage pain. The shurikens and kunais twirled like a savage twister as steel wires and bog wires fell down as well, trapping Lee in a tornado of nothing but steel and doom. Blood sprayed out of his wounds as the blades ripped and torn into his skin. In the next moment, the chakra intensive technique that would drain a normal person finished. Lee collapsed down. His body looked like it went through a grater, like someone that literally took a grater and grated his body around. As Naruto dropped down to his hands and knees, as he took deep breaths to calm his beating heart, the crowd was shocked before the boos came down on Naruto, seeing that Lee had lost. As Naruto pulled himself out of the crater when he heard, "First gate, open." As Naruto turned with shock, "This is for Tenten, I will avenge her." "Second gate, open," Lee said. The crowd started to cheer once again. As Naruto panted, he was actually low on chakra. Someone needs a hand. The Kyuubi mocked from his ear. "No, I don't," said Naruto. The fox snorted. "Die, demon," Lee said as he entered the third gate, as the audience cheered louder. As Lee slammed his fist forward, Naruto flooded his blade with chakra and sliced as Lee's fist connected into his face and was thrown. But Lee's arm was torn off, but Lee kept on charging with his left hand as he delivered a brutal kick to Naruto's body. As Naruto was sent sailing up in the air, he didn't feel pain. That wasn't good. As he brought his arms up in an X motion, as Rock Lee fist came down to smash his face into a bloody pulp, a wall of sand came up. As Naruto was caught by a wall of sand that took him away. As Naruto was shocked. Sand? Wasn't that the Ichibai? I knew that thing didn't belong to my brother. It belonged to the boy. As Naruto was confused what the cable was talking about. But he was just glad his face hadn't turned into mush from that punch. Lee body gave out at that moment as he collapsed face first on the ground. As Naruto breathed in the thick air, what seemed like hours were just minutes. And as the adrenaline wore off, he started to giggle. His giggle started to turn into a laughter as his voice resonated through the entire arena. There are no heroes in here, only monsters and madmen. As he turned to look at the proctor, smile settling down. What a mess, Kakashi said as he sighed as the medics came and quickly took Lee away. The winner of the Chunin exams is hereby declared to be Naruto Uzumaki. As the place was silent, no one applauded. As Naruto never felt more alone in his life. Meanwhile in the hospital, Sakura opened her eyes. Her sensei and Inoichi Yamanaka was there. How are you feeling now, Sakura? Her sensei asked her quietly. Sensei, everything hurts. It's alright, said Yujiro. You will heal. You just need some rest, alright? She frowned. Why am I here? You went against Neji. You fought well, but in the end, you knocked out each other. As Inoichi left the room in silence. You're in the hospital. Oh yes, your parents left the village to go to Otogai. Do you have any relatives there? No, but they do go there to talk to the supplier for the bakery. But they didn't tell me, Sakura said. In their absence, as your Jonin sensei, I have been named your guardian, said Yujiro. You'll be fit for duty in a few weeks. Until then, rest. Oh, and you have an appointment with the Hokage in the following week with your teammates. As Yujiro winked, I already forwarded the measurements for your Chunin flap jacket. Sakura's eyes widened in disbelief as a smile appeared on her face. She had won. She was a Chunin. She was a Chunin like her teammates. She wiped away the tears as her hands and her fingers felt so numb, like she has been kneading dough for about hours. But she didn't remember doing anything like that. As Yujiro then left the room, as she closed the door behind her to let Sakura get some rest. As Inoichi was still standing there, they walk outside and flicker away as they reappear on a rooftop as Inoichi started to talk. The memories were suppressed, not erased, he said. The erased memories is a punishment for any Yamanaka found guilty with execution, he said. Her psyche worked with us, however. There was no recollection of the event in the forefront of her mind, but in the back. Either a skilled Yamanaka insert the memories in her head that she killed her parents, or she really is the culprit. The Hokage said, I know. I did watch a tournament. We cannot allow the Jinchuriki to be more destabilized than he is now. Treat him with the Chunin gloves. In the months of becoming a Chunin, he should calm down, and there are the psychiatrical evaluation. Should I look out for something? He has abandonment issues that can only compare to the same ones that Uncle Minashi has. And while she had both psychological and physical abuse on her while she was a Genin, Naruto's psychological abuse came from his very first memory. He was never fully physically manhandled in the beginning of his life, except when he came for a shinobi career. But that does not change the fact that you're not dealing with normal persons. Whenever are we normal, she said. You aren't right now. Said Inoichi as he looked towards her. You're devoid of your emotions. You act on hearsay, mimicking interaction that you see around you. Sakura Haruno would probably have triggers, like seeing the forest, or sounds, or smells. When she has one of those, bring her back to the present. She was literally imprinted with some mentality by Uncle. Uncle didn't want a repeat of Orochimaru's though. She made the girl fearfully loyal to Konoha, but she's gonna have a complex concern with her teammates. Do not separate them. Uncle tied her traumas to the pack of the tigers in the forest. If you separate them, she will attack you like the devil possessed. What about Sai? Inoichi shrugged. Sai is normal. Out of them all, he was the one that was probably broken by something in his past. But judging the way he was sleeping, I delved into his mind. I can't tell anymore. She sighed as she looked towards the monument. So what should I really look out for? Doing mission, she asked. If Naruto started to laugh, diffuse what it is before he gets a chance to speak. If Sakura started to shiver or mutter something to herself, intervene immediately. If one of the two cracks, the other would soon follow. And if the one crack did something to the other, the guilt will probably lead to a suicide. She sighed. That's just like my envoy days. Only they were my teammates. Yes, we usually send these cases to envoys to begin with, Inuichi said. The training strips off most of their emotion, which works in the long term. The Jinjulki, however, he cannot become a secretive figure. He has to be public, do some big shot actions to restore his morale, and that of the village. You should be glad there isn't a war front open, or they would probably send him over there to be some war hero and come back. A hawk screeched at that moment. No hawk screech unless something was terribly happening that required Jonins to appear immediately. We'll talk more about this later, as she vanished, along with Inuichi as well. Meanwhile, Hinata was placed back in the hospital bed. She knew that Naruto was dead. That had to be the only explanation. That thing wasn't Naruto anymore. The Kyuubi had killed Naruto inside. That was the only way that Hinata could explain it. As her father left, he made his way towards Neji's room. Neji tensed up the moment he saw the man. Neji. Hayashi-sama, Neji said as he bowed. There was silence for a moment, until he spoke. Have you been told? I activated the Byakugan the moment I awoke. I saw everything. It is unfortunate, Hayashi said. He will not pay for it, will he? It is just destiny that some people are fortunate to die. Hayashi sighed as he made his way towards the window. And you were trying to claim your revenge by attacking Hinata in the forest. I wanted her scroll, Neji said. I had no intention to harm her, whether a lie or not. You went against the ears of the clan and caused her demise. I have come to terms with it, Neji said. Indeed, so has the clan. You know, your father was not sacrificed by the elders. He chose that end for himself. Of course, Hayashi-sama. You don't believe me, do you? It is not my place to say, said Neji. Hayashi went silent for a few moments before he spoke. Would you like to train with the main branch? Neji was surprised. Why? He asked. Because potential wasting is something I find distasteful. And if I had to choose a dagger that strikes towards my back, I prefer yours. At least it will feel like I repay the debt I have with your father. I don't believe that you're my father's demise. I know, Hayashi said. I know. I will need time to think about this, said Neji. Very well, Hayashi said, as he turned and left the room. As Neji remembered something, hey Neji, what are you gonna do after you become Chunin? Whatever fate chooses, he looked towards Tenten. Spoiled sport, she said. I'm gonna become a medic and a long-range expert. Isn't that impossible? Why, she asked. Tsunade-sama can both heal and fight. She's the best. And who would teach you both, said Neji. It is not your fate to become Tsunade. What? Why not? I can damn well try. To go against fate is... Then fate should get the hell away, she said, interrupting him. You won't know anything until you try, you know that, right? And unless you try, how can you be so sure? He never answered that question. Neji watched his door slide open as a medic came in. As he asked a question he never thought he would ask before. Meanwhile, as Naruto took the rooftops, because he knew after that show that he put on, his life had changed from demon to beast. Carnage creature that should be avoided and moved from at all costs. Given the fact that he was given a wide berth when he left the tournament, insults and looks were sent his way, but he ignored all of them. As he walked through the double door, as he stopped in front of the receptionist, that was conflicted with being professional and insulting him. My team, where are they? Room 9F and room 10D, 6th and 4th floor respectively, she said. He nodded as he left, as whispers started back up. As he arrived towards the first floor, where he found Sai, the boy was bandaged up and he was sleeping. He looked pale. As Naruto made his way, but the bed was empty when he arrived to the other room. As Naruto sank into the shadows, already pulled out a kunai. What was he doing? There wasn't any danger around. He shouldn't... Sakura yeeped as she saw Naruto step out of the shadows as she just exited the bathroom. Sakura, he said. How are you, he said. May it treating you well. She rolled her eyes as she sat down the edge of the bed. As Naruto pulled a chair and sat down. Yeah, she said. I shouldn't be moving, but I can't stay still. As she lied down. It's easy, now to ignore the pain. One get used to it, said Naruto. It's just a dull thud after a while. How did it go, Sakura asked. Did you fight Sai? No, said Naruto. I fought Tenten, then Kurosaki, then Rock Lee. She frowned. I won against Neji, she said. I did. As she smiled wistfully. How did your fight go? Can we talk about something else, he said. Anything else, he asked. She realized it was uncomfortable talking about this. So she tried to find another subject to speak about. Do you want to go out? When I'm out of here, to go and eat something somewhere, she asked. Naruto's eyes ran his hand through his hair. Some things happen, he said. I probably won't be in the team no. She grabbed his jacket and pulled him towards her. No, she said. Sakura? I said no, understand? Yes, but no, she said. You don't get to walk away. Whatever happened, you don't get to walk away from us. From me, she thought to herself. My parents are out of town, she said. I sent Yuji Sensei to get some things from my house. But can I get some dango from Hebai, she asked. Please? Naruto nodded as he got to his feet. Ah, Naruto. Yes? We're tunings. All of us. Sensei said so. I see, he said with a smile. That's good, right? Of course it is, silly, she said. It means we get to learn elemental techniques. Aren't you happy about that? You had always yelled to Aruka Sensei about learning cool techniques. Oh, I did. I'll be going then, he said. I'll be back as fast as I can. The moment he left, her eyes narrowed. Her packmate was afraid of something. He was dancing around the issue of a tournament. Something bad must have happened. She had to know what is troubling him. Then she had to kill that trouble. Firstly, she had to find the rest of her pack. And she had to find where the trouble was. No one hurt her team and live. No one. Meanwhile, Sarutobi pipe snapped in half when the Anbus reported their findings to him. The rest of the Jonin stood pale in front of his decks. Not only were they not talking, they were all as shocked as he was. As Hiruzen got up and walked towards the elemental map. He believed that Orochimaru was going to attack Konoha for some reason. He had been blind to the bigger threat. He even asked the Sand to mobilize their army. Then Orochimaru went and attacked Taki. Well, the leader was here, but Orochimaru did not stop there. He moved towards the grass. What is the status of the grass right now? They felt the inner turmoil. The president was breached, and the prisoners were set free. Hiruzen clenched his fists. And what of the Uchiha? Unfortunately, it was confirmed. Kabuto Yakushi was a spy. The Anzus had to take a step back from the anger leaking from Hiruzen as he slammed his fist into the wall. He was a Chunin and a medic nin. How could he pass all the tests? He had to take them in the Yamanaka, right? They always come back clean, Hokage-sama. Medical Director Nobuyu Yakushi has been taken into custody and he's been interrogated, but he seemed to be clean. What of the sound? I can't believe they attack while we have their Kage here. Reports indicate the few plants we had in our village has been killed, the Anbu said. The same can be said for the grass. And Taki, even the ninjas that we have in the sand has gone silent. The ones in the sand worry me more, Hiruzen said. Try and find out what happened. We are ally of Taki and Kuza. Try if you can reconnect the lost connections immediately. Should the state of war be declared, the man asked. No, Hiruzen said. As much as it pains me, Konoha is not ready for war on multiple fronts, not against Orochimaru anyway. Reinforce the border patrols. Start stamping the pamphlets for TS. Sir, the Anbus in the room thinks here and that. It has gone on long enough. It's time we settle this. Sir, with all due respect, begin the contingency immediately, Hiruzen said. Understood, Hokage-sama, as the Anbus flashed away. Before Hiruzen could talk to the Jonins in the room, another Anbu flashed in the room. Hokage-sama, what is it now, Hiruzen asked. The Anbu recalled like he was struck. It's Kiri, Hokage-sama. They have lost the civil war. As the Jonins watched to a strange sight as Hiruzen started to curse aloud to whatever kami or whatever god there was. It was not a good day to be a Jonin. Elsewhere, Orochimaru walked past a giant black cube that was supposed to be artificial of a civilization long gone, as he teared the Kusanagi through the body of the guard. Not important. Anyone else, he asked the prisoners. No? Good. Hebai, as his assistant, rushed forward. Take care of them. Get their names and ranks. From this moment on, you're all shinobis of the hidden sound. Understood? There was loud swallowing as everyone nodded immediately. And pat the cube up as well. We'll bring it along the way, Orochimaru said. No one dared to refuse even when they knew what that box contained. Orochimaru simply smiled. It was good to be on time on his schedule. Time skip. There was a loud beeping sound in the comatose area as my guy stood there. As he looked over his student, Rock Lee, Guy felt at fault. He could not convince Lee with words to give up on the revenge. But at the same time, he was glad that Lee was alive. Even a split limb wasn't a problem. With enough training, he can return back to duty in a couple of weeks. As Guy moved out of the room to go towards the next room, that is when he stumbled across a pinker kunoichi. Haruna-san, you shouldn't be moving, the nurse. Try to stop Sakura. I'm fine, she said. You said he was on the 4th floor, right? Yes, but you shouldn't. I'm a kunoichi. I can live with the pain. As she then turned, seeing Guy look at her. You see something you like, eyebrow freak, she asked. That's a most unyouthful accusation, Guy said. And you are mostly, you're Rock Lee's sensei, right? Said Sakura, hearing the way he talked. I am, he said in a nod. But you don't have to worry. I am above petty revenge. What are you talking about, said Sakura. As Guy saw her eyes, she did not know. What happened during the tournament? No one wants to tell me anything, that's why. I'm going to get the answer from Sai. Your teammate did not tell you, said Guy. No. You have a problem with Naruto? Asked Sakura. She narrowed her eyes, looking towards Guy. She knew that he was talking about Naruto. I do not approve of his conduct. He killed one of my members and put the other one into intensive care. What? Sakura paled. No. Naruto would never do something like that. Why don't you ask him then, my guy said. Now, if you excuse me, I will meet with the only student I have that does not need months of rehabilitation and training to return back to normal duty. As he made his way off, Sakura felt like her strength was sapped away. No, Naruto must have had a good reason for doing that. She made her way off as the nurse kept on nagging to her about her health. The nurse huffed as Sakura sat down in a chair. In Sai's room, I'll send an intern if you're not back in your bed by dinner time. My place is here, said Sakura as she glared at the nurse. Just try it. The nurse sighed as she left, clearly tired. Sakura was indeed in a lot of pain, but she could bear it. She was a kunoichi, and she had to make sure that Sai was okay and breathing. They were both unguarded here because in this state they could not protect each other. When was Naruto going to come back? Her eyes wide, Naruto went out to take food. How was he going to know that she had moved? No, she had to calm down. It wouldn't do to vent like this. He would first go into her room, then he would go into Sai's. Meanwhile, Sasuke Uchiha awoke into darkness. Darkness was all that he saw. In the deepest pits of hell, he was supposing that this was how sinners suffer after what they did. His eyes had been taken, and in that horrible darkness that was scaring into his soul, a voice spoke. Uchiha. The voice was stern and cold. It did not sound like a doctor. My eyes, said Sasuke. Seems your stupidity. No bounds. To accept something from someone you barely know. To be blinded in your pathetic excuse of revenge. That is the reason you find yourself in this condition. Who are you? Sasuke asked. I am no one of importance, but yet, I can't help but find myself disgusted. What were you thinking when you act that way? What possessed you to do that? I want your revenge on Itachi, Sasuke said. And you didn't see it fitting to ask someone else for it. They always sympathize. Teaching me simply idiotic tricks, Sasuke said. And yet you were the first in the academy. You were the blessed heir of the Uchiha clan. The descendant, the last. But now you're a fangless snake. You aren't even worthy of being used for reproduction. Because you were made sterile. Moments before you were a fruit tree. But now all your fruits have been plucked and you're drying up. No. Sasuke clenched his fists. Who are you? No one of importance, the voice said. What is important is, tell me, do you wish to be strong? Do you wish to get your revenge and kill Itachi? Yes, Sasuke screamed out, as he wondered why wasn't a nurse or doctor coming in. Who was this lunatic? He could not see them, and he was afraid. He felt powerless, he was blind. Then I'm sorry, because he would never set foot out of the village ever again. Sasuke was forcefully grabbed and restrained on the bed as he tried to fight but he could not. As he was injected, his cries turned into blood of tears running out of his sockets. As he lost consciousness, he hoped that he wouldn't have to wake up again. He didn't want to be like this anymore. Inoichi Yamanaka stepped out of the room. He's unfit for duty. I suggest putting off the transplant of normal eyes until he's declared fit for normal genin chores. Hiruzen sighed. The objective was never Naruto. It was Sasuke. The Sharingan, Inoichi said. Yes, in retrospect I should have known. Busy as he always was researching things, he was always fascinated in the Uchiha Sharingan. I suggest assigning an aide for him, and then someone to keep an eye on him. He's no longer able to reproduce, and at his death, Hiruzen sighed the finances of the Uchiha clan would end up to the Hokage, who is old and cranky, and he might just look another way if we forge a document or two. Isn't that right, Inoichi? That was not my... I knew what you really meant. Anyway, I have another meeting to attend to, one I hope to actually enjoy. As he made his way off, Hiruzen arrived to the room where Naruto was supposed to be, but it was empty. So he made his way towards his teammate's room, Sakura's. He entered to see Naruto in there, but the girl, she was missing. Naruto, as Naruto turned towards him, as Naruto was holding one of Hebai's packages, one of the congratulation packages. How would that man manage to remain in the green when he gave us so many free things? No one will ever know. Hokage-sama, I think I entered the wrong room, but I don't think so, Hiruzen said. Maybe. She went to look for your other teammate. Alright, said Naruto. Naruto, Hiruzen said. Yeah? You can't stop. It doesn't work. I suppose I can't fool you, huh? Said Naruto. Hiruzen took a step forward as Naruto took a step back. I'm sorry, but we cannot work, he said. Did I still lack the majority in the past year, when you had all option to tell me who my father was? You could have told me of the Kyuubi since I was 6, but you chose not to. You could have told me a lot, but you left me to rot in the ignorance, the glares of those others. You left me alone. And I don't need you any longer, old man. I stopped leaning on you a long time ago. I see, Hiruzen said. All grown up then. No longer a child, all ready to battle and kill in the name of Konoha. As he chuckled softly. No, not in the name of Konoha, but in the name of your team. Isn't that right? There is no use hiding it, said Naruto, or lying about it, is there? I thought pretty much the same thing once, you know. I'd lost a teammate in a shrapnel. Blood and gore was all around. And I wonder why. Why am I fighting for a village that did this? Why am I fighting when this cause is not mine to begin with? Why am I fighting for? Was it money? That was when I realized I was being a hypocrite, he said. I could blame the world. I could blame the gods. But in the end, I was the one who took that forehead protector. I was the one that chose it. I could have been a farmer, you know. My younger brother would have taken over the duty of becoming clan head if I had chosen another service. If you think you can change now because of what has already happened, because of your choice, then don't give me that bullshit, said Naruto. What else could I have done? You could have come to me, Hiruzen said. You could have told me you didn't want to be a shinobi. I'm a Jinchuriki. You would have made me a shinobi. No, I would have not, Hiruzen said. What if don't change the present, said Naruto. I've been forced to spare me the drama, Hiruzen said. You think you had it tough, please. Watch your mother blow up because of missing an attack, and then come back and cry about your misery. I never had a choice, said Naruto. You never asked for one, Hiruzen said. So what now? Is it a trip towards the extraction center? No, Hiruzen said. The world is not only made of backstabbers or clerics, Naruto. As he placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder, there's not only hate in this world, there's also love. As Naruto closed his eyes, he opened them back slowly. So because of love you sealed the Kyuubi inside of me. Because of love, my father decided I was supposed to become the Jinchuriki of Konoha. Are you sure this is love? Because this is not love. I haven't felt anything close to love since I was 6. This is not one of those cheesy novels. The heroes never get to win in the end. He never does. Hiruzen frowned. No, he does not, he said. But by living, by fighting, maybe he will give hope for someone might come later. You should know not to blame the children, said Naruto, cutting them off. I do not know why people keep on calling them innocents when they clearly aren't. They are egoistical, ill-mannered. Frankly, they should be called an example of chaos rather than innocent. Hiruzen sighed. You should go and be with your teammates, he said. No insisting Naruto asked. Naruto, trust me, Hiruzen said. If I thought you were really a menace for Konoha, you wouldn't have taken one more step without me hounding you. Naruto said nothing as he simply left with his package. But guys, be in subscribe right here for what's next part to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off now, see you guys soon. Peace.